Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And Ireland have just edged Australia 13 points to 10. The difference, a Ross Byrne penalty right at the end, and a game which, to be very honest, was pretty boring for a large part of it. Very much a slugfest. Very little give from either side. Lots of good defensive efforts, a lot of tackles, a lot of phases, but not many points. And not one of those games which are, there are some games which are very tight, that are very exciting. It wasn't quite that. It was a more sort of a proper test match. Very sort of physical, very tight, for example. It didn't make a great watch, but it then heated up very quickly in the last sort of 10 to 15 minutes. And yeah, before we break down the game, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. It was a decent start to the game for Ireland because they found themselves in Australian territory. They got themselves a penalty. Jack Crowley added the extra 3. Bernard Foley then missed a penalty as Australia proceeded to camp in Ireland's 22 and half, but just couldn't find any points. We then had Falau Fainga getting yellow carded in the 37th minute after it was sort of one-way traffic. Ireland then getting possession, turning down the chance to 3 points, really trying to sort of turn the screws and score a try and go into half-time at sort of like a 10-0 lead, but being unable to do that. So the half-time score was 3-0, and for a half which is dominated by Australia, but also very impressive defensively. And then we saw quite a similar sort of thing, but the reverse in the second half. We saw Ireland with a bit of possession in the sort of first 10 to 15 minutes, but Australia defending very well. They got their first penalty and first points in the 55th minute as Bernard Foley kicked a couple of extras. Still not much give, still not much happening, but then all of a sudden, finally, a try from Bundy Aki in the 66th minute after a couple of really good phases, just right by the try line. They just bundled his way over. Crowley adding the extra. But then, bang, bang, Australia hit back just 4 minutes later through Jordan Matai and Bernard Foley nailing the conversion. All of a sudden, 10-10, game back on. And then Ireland getting a penalty. Ross Byrne converting it. Very good kick right up against the touchline. 5 meters inside. The perfect kick from Ross Byrne. And that ended up being enough. In a very physical clash. A lot of injuries, for example. Tutupo looks like he's going to be out of the tour. I think Parecki out with the HIA. Nick White also going over the HIA. Probably shouldn't have come back if you looked at the condition that he was in. So Australia really on the last little legs just from an injury perspective, which comes with a long tour. But if you look at some of the stats, can't this tell you a bit of a story? First half possession, 61% for Australia. Second half, 51%. So Ireland just didn't have any ball in the first half. Territory-wise, overall was 52-48, so pretty even. But if you look at the first half, 67% for Australia. Second half, 63% for Ireland. So it just played in very different parts of the field in either half. One try apiece, one conversion apiece, just the penalty. And I think this kind of shows you, the 290 meters run by Ireland, 372 by Australia, 27 defenders beaten, 14 defenders beaten by Ireland, 2 clean breaks to 1. But for me, it's, that's the tackles. It's over 325 tackles in the game. Ireland were asked to make 203 tackles and made 176 of them, missing 27. Australia were asked to make 122 tackles. They missed 14. Apart from that, goal kicking success rate, Australia missing that one penalty, which would have actually had them even. The ruck success was pretty similar. Ireland were losing 2 of 20 lineouts. Australia losing 3 of 18 lineouts. The lineout was a bit of an issue because they had no hooker for a while. And then the scrums, Ireland losing 1 scrum. Both teams conceding 12 penalties. The yellow card for Australia. If we look at some individual performances, very, very big work being put on defense. James Ryan, 16 tackles, for example. Josh van der Fleer, 26 tackles. 4 missed, but 26 tackles. Caelan Doris, 23 tackles. Peter O'Mahony made 5 tackles. Tyke Furlong, 15 tackles. Andrew Porter, 14 tackles. Dan Sheehan, 11 tackles. It was just absolutely insane. Stuart McCloskey with 9 tackles. Gary Ringworth making 11 tackles. They just defended all day. If we look at some of the brightest sort of carriers for Ireland, I thought that Caelan Doris carried very well. 12 carries, 4 defenders beaten. If we look at Australia, for example, a couple of nice performances. I thought Andrew Kellaway struggled to get into the game a little bit, but Tom Wright kept himself pretty busy. 81 meters gained, 5 defenders beaten, 2 offloads from him. Rob Baltini, as you'd expect, making a lot of carries, 13 carries, 10 tackles. Michael Hooper, 16 tackles, 9 missed, 3 turnovers, 1. Proper Hooper performance, that. And apart from that, I thought the Locks put in some good work as well. James Slipper, carried the ball 8 times, made 12 tackles. Very impressive performance. It was a slugfest. It was a traditional old slugfest. It wasn't wildly exciting. Very close. And only 2 tries right towards the end. Let me know what you thought about the game. Ireland will keep the #1 spot in the world rankings. So a lot of the other sides will be quite upset about that because had they actually gone down or been held by Australia, the #1 spot would have come up for grabs. But they will hold on to it. So let me know what you think about the game down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.